Is it difficult to digitize small embroidery designs? It's not, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to digitize the small detail design step by step. Let's get started. I'm using the Embroidery Legacy Digitizing Software to create this design, and I'll leave the link in the description. Now, the first step to any digitizing is to import our image. So at the middle top where it says backdrop, I am going to click backdrop so I can load my image. And here I already have created this one called dandelion. Now, before we do any digitizing, we always want to resize our image or artwork to the size that we want the final embroidery to be. So let's click on backdrop once again, but instead of load backdrop, I'm going to click select backdrop. And you can see that there is a box around it now selecting the image. I'm going to right click on my mouse, and then in properties, here we can see the width as well as the height. And at the top, to the right, you can toggle between metric and imperial, and 13 inches is a little bit too big for this design. So I'm going to press 2 on my keyboard so I can turn it into a 2" by 2" design, because my goal is to have it on the left chest. Now, before I exit out of these properties, I am going to bring down the opacity so it's a little bit easier for me to see the stitches that I'm digitizing. Now let's zoom in to our image, and we can see right away, I'm already zoomed in 500% and I can see the full design. If I really wanted to do a lot of these details, that's already 2800, and I can press R on my keyboard, that's for ruler, and I can see 0.01 inch. 0.01 millimeters, that is way too small, so we definitely cannot do satin stitches. We are going to have to use run stitches to create this design. Now on my widget tool, I'm going to select the top tools, and then I can go to the run, because that's going to enable the run stitch. And with the run stitch, we can create all of these tiny details. But before we begin, I'm going to select the color red so it's even easier for you guys to see how I'm creating these stitches. And I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more. Now, when your widget tool is active, that means I can start creating my run stitches. I'm going to press left click on my mouse so I can put a node down, and I'm going to do my best to connect this whole design. So let's add a second node right here, and then I'm going to press my third one, and I'm just going to add 1, 2, right? And I'm not going to press enter yet. I'm actually going to return right on top of those nodes that I had created. So let's do the next one. I might have to delete a few of these only because this design is already so small. So I'm left clicking 1 and returning 1 and returning. We're going to do 1, return, and then 1 and return. And then I'm going to go back here to the bottom. But because there's the seed part of the dandelion is a little bit thicker, I'm just going to do 1 and 1. Okay, now let's examine what we just created. Let's enable the 3D view. What I did is I started at the bottom right here. We went up, so that means this would have 1 pass, then 2 passes, because we went and returned, we went, returned, we went, returned, and we did so all the way around. And then as we were coming back, this would have been 2 passes, meaning the stitches are laying on top of each other twice. And then this little tiny section right here is going to have 4 passes, because it's 2 and then another 2. So that's how we're able to add all of those tiny details, even though this is a very, very small design. Now, in the Embroidery Legacy software, we have a beautiful tool called Snap to Anchors. And what that means, Snap to Anchors, is if you click on your sequence view, you'll see that I have an object right here. Instead of having to create a new object, we have the ability to continue digitizing under that same object. So as I hover, you'll see right here there are some scissors. Those are telling me that's where my shape is finishing and it's going to trim. I can just highlight over that circle that gets highlighted as I go to the end, and then I left click right on top of it, and that means that I can continue digitizing under the same shape. So here we go. We're gonna do the same thing. 1, 2, and then 1 and 2 passes, 2 passes, 2 passes, 2, and I think I will keep all of them the same, like so, and then return, go back down, right? Because now everything has 2, but I want the bottom part to have 4, so that's perfect. I am going to ignore these in the back because I want this design to look just a little bit cleaner, so we don't have to add all of the tiny details in the back. So let's do 1, 2 passes, and you can see I don't really have to press enter to create the shapes. I can just continue creating all of my nodes, and then when I'm ready, I can press enter. So 2 passes, go all the way back down, 3 and 4, and then I'll press enter so you guys can see all of those tiny details are made in 2 passes, 4 passes down here at the bottom, and we're gonna have really nice details, again, without overloading our fabrics with having to do satin stitches because this design is so small. So let's keep going. Go 1 pass, right? Because there's only 1 stitch going from one side to the other. Then we're going to do 2 passes, 2 passes, and 2, and 2 passes. You can do backspace on your keyboard. If you ended up putting one node by accident that you didn't mean to, you don't have to delete and start all over again. And then I'll go to this one. Perfect. This is really good practice. If this is your first time trying out the widget tool and you're not really sure how nodes work, you can just left click and start putting those points down whenever you need. You can see right there, I'm not following it 100%. Instead, I'm just doing my best to align them so it looks proper to the ones that are beside it. And I'm pretty confident that these are gonna look super nice and clean. These I will overlap ever so slightly, so that's okay, it's no problem, because we are just making a run stitch. And then 3 and 4 passes. We're going to skip this one because this is something that we can potentially do as a satin stitch, but I will show you that after we're done all of these. My goal with any design is to always connect everything as best as possible, especially with these tiny designs. We do not want to be trimming because then that's when you get those really thick tie-ins and tie-outs, and potentially you'll come up with some thread break issues. So this way, by connecting the whole design, it is going to stitch out a lot faster, and you're going to have very clean results. Perfect. Now you're probably wondering, why wouldn't I just copy and paste these shapes if they're so similar? And we could do that, but I think that because each one of these seeds, they're so, I guess, unique in their own way, in the way that they're bending, in the way that they're facing the, the different angles. I almost prefer to digitize all of them manually. That way it does give the design a bit more of you could say a handmade look. And also it's not really that time consuming to create all of these. As you can see, I'm just doing 2 passes, almost like I'm creating spider legs. Just going all the way back, 1 and 4 passes on that one. And we got this last one right here. 1, 2 passes, 2 passes. We'll do that one, 2. Now you can add more if you really wanted to. You don't have to stick to just doing however many I did, 7. If you want, you can add even more. But I'm pretty happy with keeping them, well, you know what, just for fun. We'll add one more. And then 1 and 4 passes, perfect. So now I'm going to press enter on my keyboard. And you can see we have all of those tiny details. This is only 300 stitches. And what is it, 11 millimeters? That is so small. And now we can add these main details. Now there's only one trim, and those are the scissors right here. So that means that we did a pretty good job at utilizing the snap to anchor to ensure that we only have one object. So there's only one trim. Now let's press number 2 on my keyboard, and this is going to enable the classic satin. Now, if you don't know the difference between satins, run stitches, fills, as well as underlays, pull compensation, all of the important digitizing theory, we do have a free Digitizing 101 course plus cheat sheet available in the link in the description. The course will make you feel a lot more comfortable when creating your own embroidery designs, and it's free, so I'll leave it in the description. Now, this is the satin stitch, and I'm going to left click to put my first node, similar to what we've been doing with the run stitch, but instead of going around the area, I'm going to do a counterpoint. So I'm going to go to the other end of the shape to put my counterpoint. Then I'm going to return back to this side, and I'm going to return to the other side. So we're almost grabbing both of the edges of the shape. So point, counterpoint, and then counterpoint like so. Then I'm going to press enter because I've outlined my shape. I'm going to press enter, and you'll see that we have created all of those satin stitches. Okay, now we have this stick that we have to take care of. So I think we could practice a little bit more of the point counterpoint with the classic satin. Now this section right here, if you haven't seen the theory, I highly suggest you do, because then you'll know that 0.7 millimeters of length is a little bit too thin of a width, so we want to increase that a little bit more. Now, a trick that you can do to add more width, even though it's very small, is you can add an angle. So now here, instead of it being 7 or let's say 5, we can angle this, and now it can be 1 millimeter. And then I'm going to right click and 1 millimeter, and I'm angling my stitches so they become a lot longer when they're angled. So let's stick to 1 millimeter. We'll make this bottom one just a tiny bit bigger to exaggerate it, and then we'll do 1 millimeter right there and enter. Awesome. That is still super tiny, but at least we're allowing the embroidery to stitch out this design properly. There shouldn't be any issues with the design at all. Now I think we're done with the main shape. Let's finish up all of these tiny ones. And for these, I think I am going to use the run tool. So that's perfect. Now remember how we started at the bottom with the other shapes? This is a perfect design to do that, because here is where our starts and stops are going to be. So all of those bundled stitches that need to lock in and tie out, they're all going to be right here, which means that I'm going to press left click, and then I'm going to create the shape. So let's do 2 passes on everything and just go around. Now that we've got that shape, we can return. And I'm going to do 1 and maybe stop somewhere there and then enter. And you'll see that a lot more stitches will be bundled up here. Now, this is where we can actually copy and paste this because it is going to be so small. They're all pretty similar. So what we can do is we can select the shape, press A on your keyboard to select, and then we're going to duplicate. So right here, pressing duplicate, I'm going to move this one over here. That's perfect. Now let's do the same thing again, duplicate, and let's bring this one over here. Let's do the same thing again, right click, and put this one here. Let's just make sure we put it far enough that they won't connect, because we do want them to trim, and then paste this one as well somewhere here. Perfect. Now, I'm going to leave that one as an example because something's going on right there. Let's select this shape right here, or any of them that are connecting, and we're going to press Q. Because you'll notice that the stop, again, which is the red square, isn't where we left it. We are going to drag it all the way back down here. And now the start and stop should be in the same place. We're going to do the same thing. That one is fine. We don't have to modify that one. This one, the stop did move, so we'll just bring it down there. And this one, the start should be here and the stop should be here. Same thing with this one. I'm just going to bring the stop down there. And now everything should be good in this design. They're all trimming. That's exactly what I wanted, so that's perfect. And at the top on our toolbar, besides metric and imperial, we can click view redraw. Now as I press play, we can see the design stitching out, including all of those tiny details with the passes that we added. Then it's going to do those satin stitches, and then trim, go to the other tiny details, and the design is fully done. Now 685 stitches, let's see, in inches, 1.53 by 1.41. That is perfect. If you want it, you could modify these. And now let's save this design as a JDX because that is the native file format. So let's call this dandelion. And you want to save it as a native file format so you can always go back to it and make digitizing edits. Then, besides your save, we're going to export as, and I'm going to export this as Tajima DST because that's the machine that I have. If you have a brother machine, then you can do PES, a Melco, a Singer, depending on the machine you have, you want to export that as your machine. I'm going to click save, and now I'm ready to take that onto the embroidery machine, and I'll come back with the results. Here's the final embroidery, now stitched out on a t-shirt. Look at those tiny details, and I even compared it to a pin that I have with me. It is incredible the amount of detail that we can add using the proper stitches, using the proper theory in digitizing. And I just have one more tip for you today in the software. If you find that your run stitches are moving even though you don't want them to, that's because we have something called Smart Join, and that is going to connect the shapes as close as they can be. That way there are less trims on your design, but we have set it up so you can actually disable that or exclude runs if you want to make manual runs. So at the top right where it says auto, make sure you go to Smart Join settings and make sure that exclude run paths is enabled. That way whenever you're doing satins and fills, the Smart Join is going to kick in and it's going to path the stitches the best way possible, but you can still manually edit your run stitches with the proper starts and stops for even more accuracy and control. I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to digitize small, tiny designs. Any questions you have, make sure to leave them down in the description and I'll be happy to answer them as best as I can. And also, we have a bunch more digitizing tutorials for you to take your knowledge to the next level. So I'll catch you on that next video. See you guys.